Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Just enjoying the weather. It's been really nice. We've kept our windows open in the house and everything, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad, and I know you and I got to do a nice little walk and get together over this weekend when the weather was pretty nice as well, so that was
Oh
fun.
yeah, wonderful.
Um, Yeah, it's funny, folks. You've been seeing us sort of socially distance or virtually distance on these recordings, but we have been sort of making some time to see each other in person, which has been really nice. Exploring different paths around both Wellesley and the Somerville, Medford, Cambridge areas. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, very scenic.
Excuse me. So for tonight's episode, if you've watched the past few episodes, you saw us sort of take a little dive into reminiscing about some personal teams that we've been a part of. You saw us do all four of our high school football seasons from both a player and a fan's perspective. But there's sort of one perspective that we've both been involved in sports that we haven't really touched in terms of this sort of theme of shows that we've been doing, and that is the coaching perspective. As you know from past episodes where we have talked about it, Kyle and I both have experience coaching youth basketball, and we actually have coached for 2 years together for youth basketball. And so what we want to do for not only tonight's episode, but for the next episode as well, is sort of dive into those 2 years we coached together and sort of give you our perspectives on it and sort of take you through those years, because we had, definitely two fun teams to coach, and also two sort of very different age groups and personalities for sure. So we're going to start off tonight with the first team that Kyle and I coached. It was actually the first team that we really that the first CYO team, I should say, that I ever coached, and same thing with Kyle, and that is our 2005-2006 CYO season team. So that year, we had the pleasure of coaching the a team at the 9 and 10-year-old age group, so the junior boys as they're called, and we were sophomores in high school, so this was all kind of brand new to us, and we were trying to sort of figure it out as we went, but we had a lot of fun doing it. So Kyle, the first thing I kind of want to get your perspective on and ask you is sort of.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
That's okay.
That was my phone. My phone, okay. Lots of random messages here and there. So okay.
Our text line is open. But no, I just kind of want to get your perspective on is sort of what sort of, just sort of talk about the process, I guess, of us, from your perspective, of us deciding to coach that season, and just sort of what made you interested in doing that, and the sort of what it was like for you, just sort of feelings wise and expectation wise heading in to that first year.
Well, so the first year of coaching, I'm not gonna lie, it was a mix. It was like a great mixture of really excited because it was a new opportunity. I had never coached anything before before this point. So, it being basketball, for those of you who don't know, Robbie and I had actually been on the CYO program. At least I was there the year before. No, sorry, 2 years before that. And you were there.
No, you were. Oh no, you're right. No, you just played in 8th grade. That's right.
I was only in 8th grade. Yeah, I didn't make it to 9th grade because I kind of aged out.
Yeah, I played CYO in town for a lot longer, obviously, but of course I lived there longer. So that's to be expected. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, no. So So it was so interesting because I had kind of an idea of what the program was about, at least from a player standpoint. But from a coaching standpoint, I was that's why ever since middle school actually I had always pictured myself to be a teacher of some sorts. I took this opportunity as a as a really great thing because it kind of was kind of like teaching, and I always thought it would kind of um, it'd be a good like kind of like starter to like how to teach and everything. And so yeah, no, I was very excited. But like I said before, I was also very nervous because I had never done this before. It was just it was very new to me. So yeah, no, I was really really happy to take the opportunity to take that chance. So
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So I had a little bit of coaching experience prior because I'd worked at like baseball camp as a coach prior to that, and also had coached my sister Sarah, who you if you follow our show closely, you will know she's been on a few episodes. I coached her softball team for a couple of years prior, but I actually never coached basketball myself because up until that year I was playing. I was playing basketball, so like my last year in CYO was the year before, so I kind of made that quick transition from a player into a coach. And yeah, like I didn't really know what to expect. Like I was excited, obviously to be able to coach in a league that I've been part of for a long time. But I was also really nervous because it was just something new for me, and working with players that I didn't know and stuff like that. But I think one of the things, Kyle, I think you would agree with this. One of the things that made it an easy transition was the fact that we actually had a parent coaching with us. His name was Mr. Buckley, as we knew him. I actually ended up coaching with him for 2 years because I coached in years after that. But yeah, he was very, very helpful to us in sort of that transition and sort of, helping guide us in our coaching escapades. So I think Kyle, you would agree. It was very nice to sort of have him around to really be a nice mentor for us in our first year.
Oh yeah, no, he was a great guy. I know I probably haven't seen him since like I think that season personally, but I remember him being like really nice. He helped us out a lot, and you're right. I remember he wasn't there initially, if I remember correctly. I think he came in like maybe like a couple weeks after, or maybe like after he started.
I mean, it was kind of like right at the beginning of practices and stuff like that. So,
and it was really kind of just a nice kind of like. He really did help us out a lot. He really supported us, through that season, I thought. And just because you're right, like, because we, and you brought up a good point too. I hadn't known any of the kids or families at the time, so it's like, so that's kind of where also my kind of part nervousness came from. I'm like, oh, I don't know anyone, so.
Yeah, I mean, we had some good players on our team, just in terms of skill wise and personality wise. We definitely, like I said, had a mixture of characters on the team, and it was a fun group. But yeah, Kyle, what do you remember about the players specifically? Was sort of what stands out when you think back to the players on that team? And just sort of what are your thoughts on that?
No, the players are amazing. If I feel bad. I don't remember each and every single player. There were a couple of them. Yeah, there are a couple of them I can kind of think off the top of my head. William.
Yeah. Lee. I remember Lee.
Oh, Lee. Yeah, he was
Henry,
really good.
Henry. We had. Oh my God! All right. So here's the funny thing.
Oh, Michael. We had Michael.
Michael, yeah. All right. Here's the funny thing, is that and I just it took me like 5 minutes into the episode to realize this, but I actually do have a picture of our first team hanging over my wall here. It's kind of I can't really get it off because it's kind of like stuck into the wall, but it is there.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
but anyway, yeah, it is. Hold on one sec. You know what? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna do a little experiment here.
Okay.
Uh, and see. Hold on, folks. This is what we call creative editing. All right, there we go. So let's see. I'm going to. What I just did is I took a picture on my phone
Oh, there
uh,
you
of the
go.
picture. Come on, phone. Yeah, I understand. I just want the photo. Uh, so I don't know if you people can see this. Hold on, I'm gonna hold it up as close as I can to the camera. But yeah,
Put it
that's
into
our
your head.
team. I don't know. I'm
We're
kind
just like this.
I was yeah. That's kind of in the background. Our heightness kind of is a disadvantage. But the picture you can see our full heads. I just unfortunately was trying to meet my lovely picture taking abilities. But yeah, that was our team. That was our team. So now I'm looking at it. I'm gonna try to read off the name. I'm gonna try and list off the names I remember from this picture. So in the back we have, I think his name was Ned. Will's in the middle, and then
Yep.
there's this kid Darren, I believe his name, was on the far
Oh,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Mhm.
in the front, we had Michael, Lee, Henry, and Brian. Uh, Brian, who actually
Oh,
was
yeah.
about a small world. It was actually the younger brother of one of Kyle's football teammates in high
Yes, that's right.
school. Wild Bill, as they called the older brother. But yeah,
Wow.
so that was sort of at least 7 members of our team. Then we had I think it was Brendan. Yeah, Brendan, who was Mr. Buckley's son, as well. So yeah, so wow, that's I'm actually pretty impressed that I like could sort of list them off still, kind of just like
Yeah,
that.
right?
So that was no, we had a good group. We had a very good group, and very very fun to be around. And we got to the one cool thing about CYO is like we got to play against other towns, and thus got to play like in those other towns. And I know we played at least 1 or 2 games in Weston that year. I'm trying to remember
Was
if
it
we
was it
played.
at the middle school there?
It was at the one of the elementary schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we played in one of the elementary schools, and I'm
Okay, so
trying to
not the same
remember.
middle school that we okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we played in any other play. I know I'm trying to play if we played any of the other teams away. I can't remember off the top of my
I
head.
think I think we actually went to Framingham for
Did
maybe a game
we?
or
Did
so.
we? Okay, yeah.
I believe
I
so.
couldn't 100% remember if we played Framingham at Framingham that year.
Yeah.
You're probably right, because usually we
Possibly.
played at least one road game in Framingham. I feel like every year.
Yeah.
So that's not a far fetched assumption there. But yeah, so and the thing I also remember is I think we finished with a relatively decent record. I think we actually had a winning record that year, which was pretty cool if I remember. So
I
that
think
was
you're
really
right, yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was really,
I believe so, yeah. Something like that. Yeah, you're right. I'm the same way. I forget like the exact like all the scores and records that we had.
yeah, yeah, because we usually played our games in the at the Bates Elementary School in Wellesley. I know is where we played most of our games in town. I think we played one game at 10 Acre as well that year. So yeah, so it was just a really, like I said, really nice time, really group of really, really good sort of first year of coaching CYO basketball.
Yeah, and us being in high school, it's like it's just kind of wild because like I just never imagined myself even in high school like
We weren't
coaching.
even driving at that. We weren't even driving at that point. Like we didn't even have driver's licenses at that point.
I
That's
think
how
we were
young we
like,
were.
yeah, like I remember like I think I was on my way to getting like a permit or something like that. I may have made possibly, but like you're right. I remember my parents having to drive me to like all the the road games and everything. So
Oh yeah, yep. Same here. Into practices and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember where we practiced that year. That's like the one year that I don't. Oh man, it's gonna drive me crazy now. But yeah, I can't remember where we practiced.
I thought we practiced at the beach school.
Did we?
We may have that. That's what I thought.
Maybe. You're probably right. I can't off the top of my head remember. I mean, I remember like where we played a lot of our games, but I can't. I remember where we practiced our second year, which like I said, we'll talk about next episode. But
Yeah.
that place is pretty unforgettable for a number of reasons. Again, which we'll get into. A little teaser alert.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. Any other thoughts, Kyle, on that season? I know we kind of got all over the place here, but is there any other thoughts on the 05-06 coaching season from your perspective?
I mean, I don't quite remember as much from that season as I do for the more recent one we're going to talk about in the next episode. But
yeah.
I do have to say this though, it definitely did help me kind of figure out, it really did kind of introduce me to the whole concept of teaching, and because coaching has a lot of similarities, and I just really appreciated it for that, that alone. And it really helped that we had a great group of kids who are probably now in their like I think early 20s at this point. They're probably even out of college, but probably no, which is kind of funny to think. So
I know. I think all of them at this point are out of college and living grown up lives, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, right. 'Cause I can't even picture them as adults. I could still picture them only as like when they were 10.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's pretty wild when you think about how time flies.
Yeah, it's just I just thought they were a really great group, and each kid and you're right, like you said, like each kid really had their own personality. I remember one of them was like a little more quiet, so I remember he was still kind of like learning how to like be in like more like in more team situations, I think, versus like some of the other kids were more outgoing, and some of them you could tell like they really loved playing basketball, so they practiced a lot, whereas other kids were just kind of more there for fun. And hey, you know what? But that's okay. Any way you go. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. it was just a great team.
It really was. I mean, just so much fun, and a lot of good memories and a lot of good connections there, and definitely was glad to have been a part of it, and definitely excited to sort of dive into our other coaching season, which is a little bit more recent, on the next episode. So stay tuned for that. But now we're going to move on to the last portion of our episodes, of our end segments here. And I'm going to go first with my final thought. I'm actually going to take a page out of the Kyle playbook here and have my last segment be actually nothing about sports. This is a public service announcement to the people of Massachusetts. Just because there's a global pandemic going on does not mean that you are allowed to just basically forget how to drive. And to just disobey the most basic rules of the road. So I've had my shut up, computer. I've had my driver's license since I was 16. Okay, I am now 30 years old. Yes, do the math. In the 13 and a half years, or however much you want to call it, up until this pandemic hit, I had 2 instances of this very illegal driving act happen. In the last 3 months, I've had it happen 4 times. And that is when you are driving down a double yellow line road and you're going at the speed limit. By the way, I've been going at the speed limit every single time. I haven't been like going, excessively slow or anything. Not that that makes it right. 4 times now have people from behind me sped up and passed me on a double yellow line road. What the hell, people? It does not make any sense. I understand that we're living in a completely different world right now. That everything's topsy-turvy. There's a pandemic going on. There's far less traffic on the road. Guess what? The rules of the road still apply. It does not matter if there's nobody else on the road or traffic is down 80-90% from where it was 3 months ago. You still have to follow the rules of the road. And I had, maybe if you want to push the speed limit a little bit or something like that, blah, 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 blah. But just to pass somebody on a double yellow line road on, these aren't even like major roads I've been on. These have been like sort of side roads. And you're still, first of all, it's just extremely dangerous. It's stupid. It's illegal. People, it just frustrates me to no end. It's like, people, be kind. Remember how to drive and be patient. You're going to get where you're going. There's no need for that. There's no need at all. And I felt like it needed to be said because it's just been on my mind now for a couple of weeks since the latest incident of it happened. It's just like, come on, people, get your act together, and things will be so much better off for it. So, anyway, now that I've ranted and sent people screaming from their computers, let me throw it.
Honestly, Robbie, just a quick side note.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people nodding in agreement. I am also one of those people that 100% agree with everything you said. And, people should, be more mindful on the road because...
Yeah, exactly. Just, come on, people. Get together. But anyway, let me... for a little bit more pleasant of a final segment, let me toss it over to Kyle here, where he can give his latest edition of the Sue's Reviews. Take it away, Kyle?
All right, so I've got a show I wanted to review today. So I'm going to do kind of like I did with, I think the last show, what was it, Letterkenny, I think I talked about?
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to talk about the whole series because I haven't seen it. I'm just going to go on an episode 1 basis of what I saw. And the first episode I saw was the show called Upload. You can find it on Amazon. It's actually from the creator of The Office, Parks and Rec, and he also did this other show. I don't know how he's doing all these, like he's like doubling 2 shows at the same time. Like he did this one in Space Force that he literally also just released on Netflix. So this guy's got a lot of content. I haven't seen Space Force, but I know The Office and Parks and Rec are very, very well-revered shows. So I wanted to try with Upload because it had this kind of sci-fi vibe. So basically, the story is about this guy who's in this kind of strange relationship with this girl. He really likes this girl, but the girl's kind of pushing him around, and she doesn't seem to. I don't know. She always seems to have like the last say in everything in the relationship. So what happens is now, mind you, they live in like the distant future. So there's a lot of there's hover cars and all kinds of like new technology and stuff like that. So it is a sci-fi heavy show. But what happens is in the first episode, he gets in a car accident and he dies. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
But it's honestly not a major spoiler because that's pretty much the whole premise. Like what happens is after he dies, they upload his consciousness. Is that a word? Consciousness? His consciousness or conscience?
Consciousness, you got it.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. They upload his consciousness into a digital world, so it's basically like a digital afterlife. Like they have found a way to put people's after people die, they have the option to just either stay dead or put their consciousness in this virtual world. So he ends up doing that. He signed the agreement and everything, and the whole show is just like how he kind of communicates to his girlfriend in the real world, while getting used to all these changes of him being in a digital world. Like, there's a lot of cool parts of it. Like he can change the weather, he can change the seasons, and he can eat pretty much any kind of food that he wants and everything. But as the episode goes on, he finds there's also a lot of negative aspects, and I'm not going to spoil too much about it. But it's a very interesting show because it balances sci-fi, drama, and comedy, I think, pretty well. I thought they did a good job with that. I also really liked there is a character that they introduce. She's basically the voice in his head, and she basically helps him, after his transition, after he dies and goes into the digital world. She helps him. She basically communicates with him and helps him kind of get more accustomed to the digital world. So, and she's a great character. I forget the actress's name, but she's really funny. And I just really like kind of the shows. I haven't seen really any show like it. I really got to praise its originality. So yeah, if you're looking for just a solid show, just to start on at least, a good episode 1 starter, I definitely recommend Upload. So yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kyle, as always, for that lovely review, and definitely have to check that out. And if you don't, you're a loser. But
you're automatically a loser. That's it. You have to upload your consciousness into the internet.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Again, tune in next week for us talking more about our CYO coaching days. You don't want to miss it. So until then, though, for Kyle, I'm Robbie, signing off from On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, stay safe, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.